Welcome to Retirement with Jim. So today, a new milestone. So before we get started, if you like my channel, please subscribe. It helps the channel grow. If you like the content, hit the like button and feel free to leave comments. Love to hear from you. So let's go ahead and get started. So a new milestone in Social Security. This year in 2025, the average check is going to be $2,000. So now, of course, there are many checks that are smaller, and there are checks that, of course, that are higher. But the average, everyone in the middle range there, is going to see about $2,000. So that equates now that if your spouse is retiring about the same time as you, um, then you're looking at two of you. So you're looking at an average of $4,000 a month coming in. Not bad, $48,000 a year. Now, with that, you take on top if you've been fortunate enough to at least put away $500,000, let's say. You could have more, but if you have around that, you would then be looking at a 4% withdrawal rate. You'd be looking at 20,000. You're looking at about $68,000 a year to live on. Now, that's really not bad. That's a very middle ground and very doable. Excuse me, getting over a cold and kind of hard to avoid that. So if you have money in a Roth, your taxes have already been paid. And that's a great, a great reason to have your money in a Roth, or at least some of your money. If not, you should consider a conversion so that you at least are paying, no taxes, on that because you have paid the taxes up front. And that's a huge win for you. So you say to yourself, between $65,000 and $68,000 a year. Now, I don't know, what your tax implications would be because everyone's tax situation is different. So talking about taxes on that, a little hard, simply because it's so individualized by what people claim, how they file their taxes, what they do. But still, it's a very doable situation. So 27% of recipients that collect Social Security are only on Social Security, period. Now, that can be challenging. There's no doubt about, if you are only on Social Security, you are definitely going to make your situation a challenging one. You really have to watch every penny and maybe considering a side gig, a part-time job, something that will help bring in some extra income, but there are plenty of people that do it and they find a way to make it work. So it may not be, of course, the most desirable, and and there's, of course, many kind of factors playing in. Do you still pay rent? Do you have a mortgage, or are you free and clear and you got a place to live? There's still, even with a mortgage-free home, you still have taxes every year, and you also have if you are like myself, I live in the Phoenix area. I have an HOA I have to pay. So, there are additional costs. And of course, then the cost of just the home itself. So living on just Social Security is, when you put all of that together, is quite challenging. But with careful planning, you can have a very safe and sound, retirement. When you're talking about, 60 plus thousand a year, you can live comfortably. But let's face it, as you retire, you're going to spend less money. It's just inevitable. You don't have as many needs. You should be able to reduce maybe how much you spend on gas. Anything work related is gone. So there are, and then depending on what you do from a food budget and food standpoint, you can find ways to make that quite affordable. So, you know, most people retire in the middle. There's, three groups: the top 3%, the bottom 5%, and then the middle. And the top 3% are considered wealthy. The 5% at the bottom are considered poor, and most of us all fit in that middle group. You know, so when you think about all of what you are getting from Social Security, it is important. This is why it's important to fix Social Security and make it sustainable for the following generations, but also for the people that are currently on it to be able to afford to continue to live and and not be in the poorhouse. Just be able to have a dignified, reasonable expectation that they can live their life out and enjoy their retirement. So it's important that we make every effort to not only fix Social Security, talk to and don't think your voice doesn't matter. It does. We need to elect the right kind of people that are going to make our lives, for all of us in the middle, which is the vast majority of this country, make our lives better. It isn't about the wealthy. The wealthy, they don't need tax breaks. They don't need everything else. They have found every way to make that money, and God bless them. I don't fault anybody who worked hard and made their money and did well for themselves. But for all of us who fit in the middle, yeah, we could use a little bit of help, and that's what Congress is supposed to be there for. They're supposed to be there for us, to help us. And it's time to start taking back this country, and do things for middle America, the people who do all the work and matter the most. So let me know what you think in the comments below, and love to hear from you. So with that, I want to say you have a great day, and I will see you in the next one.